Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and deceased. Welcome to my very first vlog review of The Walking Dead, and I am starting off with the latest episode that aired, Season 3, Episode 9, The Suicide King, and this is a little bit late. Generally, I'm gonna try to do these Walking Dead reviews on Sundays, which is the day when the episodes air, so I apologize for being late. The first 5 times I tried to upload my original vlog review of the episode, my video would get queued and then it would never upload, and it just kept happening over and over and over, and I never got the time to put it back up. So I'm just refilming this and starting from the top. So this is my very first time reviewing a show that isn't Dexter. I am typically known for my reviews of the Showtime series Dexter, so if you haven't seen that show, it is awesome. It is full of serial killers and lots of good stuff. So if you like a show that's really gonna make you feel terribly conflicted, then Dexter's a good show for you. So anyhow, let us break down this episode. I'm just gonna kind of share with you some of my impressions and theories and things of that nature, just to kind of stir some conversation. I respond to as many comments as I can, so leave lots of thoughts below. Also, speaking of zombies, just yesterday I saw the movie Warm Bodies, and I had some apprehensions about it initially. I was kind of like, oh no, is this gonna be, I was afraid that it was gonna be one of those movies where all the good scenes are in the previews and then the movie's just really unsure of itself between those scenes, So you're pretty much just going from funny scene to funny scene to funny scene, but it was very entertaining throughout, and there is a Walking Dead cameo in there, so kind of a fun Easter egg. I almost peed a little bit when I saw it, so if you haven't seen the movie, you should see it. If you have, let me know what you think. And anyhow, let's talk about the actual Walking Dead episode itself. So, we saw a lot of interesting things happen in this last episode, and for one, we saw, and just spoilers, I am not going to hold anything back about the show so far, so if you haven't watched, you might want to go somewhere else. So, anyways, we saw Daryl taking off with Merle, and I had anticipated that that was going to happen. I'm completely unsurprised. I had a feeling that the blood tie was really going to draw Daryl in as soon as he realized that his brother was still around. And somehow after this lifetime of abuse that he's gotten from him, he's still connected to him. They still have that tie, and so that's the way that he goes. And it was really tough and really upsetting, and we love Daryl, let's be honest. But I'm fairly confident that he is going to be returning to / interacting with his old group again. I mean, hello, they're not going to write him out, obviously. And if you guys saw the mini kind of preview for next week's episode, it is made clear that he's going to be involved again. So he's not completely out of the picture, but the question is, how long is he going to be with Merle? How long is he going to be able to stand up for and stand alongside him? I was talking with some friends the other day, and we think that Daryl is going to be put in a situation where he is going to have to decide whether or not he's going to put his brother down. And, it was something that I hadn't considered right away, but I think that that's I think that's a very possible progression of things for them, to go from this place where Daryl's kind of, blindsided by the fact that, oh my gosh, I have my brother back, I'm committed to him, I need to go with him, I need to be with him, after all this time. And I think that ultimately Merle's direction is going to conflict with Daryl's, and so it'll just be interesting to see in what ways and if they're both gonna make it out alive. But I think that AMC knows that they are going to have an apocalyptic riot on their hands if they take Daryl out for good. So I'm just saying, they're walking on pins and needles in terms of anything drastic that they want to do with him, because he's our favorite. So there's that situation. What do you guys think? What do you think is going to become of our beloved Archer, the very own Hawkeye of the zombie apocalypse? So there's that. And then of course we have the Governator and the Governess, Andrea. So very interesting, you know, as the Governor is kind of, you know, he's sort of experiencing a breakdown. He just got frickin' stabbed in the eye, and he was told that the person that actually did it had been killed, and she wasn't, and, you know, it's kind of a bad day going on for him. But, yeah, so Andrea is the one who has to rise up in the midst of the ensuing chaos at Woodbury to calm everybody down, and, you know, she pacifies them in a heartbeat. You know, she may as well have, like, I mean, she just put everybody down for, like, emotional nap time, you know? They've got the pitchforks and the torches and guns, and, you know, and she just steps in and she's like, let's just lay off. And, you know, she speaks a lot of wisdom into the situation. And, you know, Andrea's always kind of rubbed me the wrong way, but I think that it was a really, you know, smart move on her part. But what's not exactly smart in my mind is her continued involvement at Woodbury. Because inevitably, you know, there's going to be a war. And what side is she gonna fall on? You know, Andrea's always had kind of an issue as far as like getting attached to just inappropriate or controversial or just not terribly good guys. So, you know, she's kind of sucked into this whole scenario and is rising as the Governess. So what do you think of her? What do you think is going to happen between her and the Governor? You know, inevitably, I think they're going to be put at odds. She might feel the desire to actually go back to her old group and commune with them, and there's going to be some manipulations, I'm sure. So what do you think is going on there? And what do you think is going on in the minds of our beloved Rick Grimes? The Ricktatorship is kind of suffering right now under his leadership, as he's having some sort of fantastical blurs between truth and fiction and reality and everything that's going on in his stressed out little brain. So, you know, the scene that we have at the end of the episode is truly frightening and disturbing, you know, seeing Rick as being the one who's instating this order, and he's been the one who's trying to uphold it all this time, and then, you know, as he is put in the position of trying to decide, you know, whether or not they should absorb the new group that's in the prison into their group and try and, you know, make a happy family of things, all of a sudden, Ghost Laurie is up in the loft, and he is just off. He just goes, and it's really tragic. And the way that Andrew Lincoln acted that scene was, it was just so hard to watch, because you see this uncertainty just like, whoom, just set in his face as soon as he sees her, and he's just like, I can't help you, and he's just sort of pacing, sort of like a caged animal, because, you know, he feels obligated by the memories of Laurie and by, you know, the fact that he never tried to reconcile with her before she got ripped out of his life. And, you know, he still hasn't even fully grasped the concept of him being father. In fact, having a daughter for him right now is more painful than joyous, because he feels that he has largely failed, and to some extent it almost seems like, you know, little ass kicker whom we all love inevitably, you know, he almost, it seems like he sees her as representative of his failure in a way, because, well, not only do we not know whose DNA is in the child, who contributed to the process of the production of this little infant. So not only is, you know, the father technically still in question, I think that's in the back of his head, but, you know, the mother who bore it and who, you know, was emphatically saying, was giving it to him, you know, this is your child, we will raise it together, da da da, you know, she's gone, and there was nothing that he could do about it. So it was just an incredibly painful and disconcerting experience. But what do you guys think of that? And, you know, what's the future of the Ricktatorship looking like? I think it's interesting how there was sort of some parallels between the situation of Rick as well as the governor, in that they're both kind of having some, you know, splits and dualities about them. So who do you think is more sane, if you had to say? Would you say Rickolas or the Governator? You know, gotta kind of weigh the scales here. It's interesting that there's these two main groups we're looking at, and both of their leaders are kind of suffering. Yes, so as always, I am ecstatic that Herschel is still around. I've taken to calling him my, he's Papa Hershey. He's my little Hershey bar. I love him, I love him. He's just, oh, he's just such a good presence to me. I like him, and Maggie and Glen have been undergoing, you know, they have come through hell and back with their experiences, and it's been really crazy to see Glen stretched. You know, he's starting off as just kind of the resourceful pizza guy, and now he's come to a place where he is breaking down. He's even standing up to Rick, whereas he is usually the one who's trying to restore some balance and calm everybody down, and he's sort of riled up himself, but understandably so, because, you know, it's sort of like how Rick is beating himself up over the fact that he couldn't protect Lori and that everything happened the way it did. I think that Glen is beating himself up over what happened with Maggie and the governor, and, you know, even though nothing like happened, you know, he was still in a place where he couldn't have prevented anything, especially if things had gone any further. So yeah, so you really can't blame him for taking on this dark side, and just kind of pulled a friggin' ninja warrior in his battle against the zombie strapped to a chair. That takes some balls. I think his dropped a little further, you know. So there's that. There's so much to talk about. There's Carol, and there's you know, Maggie's little sister. I thought it was so funny when she came up to Rick and she like gave him a little kiss. It's like, at first she's kind of flirting with Carl, and now she's sort of flirting with his dad. So, you know, she can't decide if she's gonna be a cradle or a coffin robber, you know. So guess we'll see what's up with that. There's not really a generous dating market going on for them, so yeah, we'll have to see. And I mean, I'm so sorry that I can't remember her name. She's just kind of Maggie's little sister to me, but you know, if she's gonna go after Rick, she's got some ghosts to come up against, so that's very crazy. So what do you think is in store for the next episode, episode 10 of the season? Let me know, leave all your thoughts and comments below, and thank you so much for watching. It is my pleasure to make these for you. And also, very important, I usually have little intro montages to my vlogs, and I didn't this week because I am really interested in having one of my viewers submit to me a 20 to 30 second little song clip that I could use as an instrumental for my little intro section. So if you're interested in that, hit me up in my messages or in the comments, because I read them all. So that would be really awesome, and I'll bring this up in the next couple vlogs as well until I can get some submissions. So that'd be super cool. I would love your guys' assistance in that. So thanks for watching again. I'll be back with more blood and guts and zombies next time, so take care, y'all.